Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. We're out here back at it again at my favorite little pond. I got out here, I guess it was probably hour and 15 minutes or so before daylight. Tossed around the well, it's a topwater, but it wasn't hollow body topwater. Didn't get any bites, so I switched over to the swim jig with a creature on it, and I caught a couple of them already this morning, but it was too dark to film. But now that it's starting to get daylight, I figured I'd go ahead and get the GoPro going, see if I can catch a couple more before I move back over to the other side of the lake. So thanks for joining. Hopefully we'll get on some more action and get some decent footage for you guys. Alright, so we're gonna start tossing this jig back out. Like I said, I already caught 2 or 3 this morning right from this area. Caught a couple from right out to my left, and I don't know if you can see them very well, but there's some lily pads right there. That was the last one I caught, was right off of them lily pads. So, and then I caught a couple from over here to my right. So we'll keep flipping this out and see if we can get any more. I don't know if I'll get anything else over off of this side, considering I've already caught 3 over here. But they seem to be wanting to eat today. So anything's possible. I'll toss this jig out a few more times, and if they seem to quit biting on that, I'll switch it up to something else. I got a new bait. Well, new to me. It's not new, but I got a new setup I want to try. I just ordered some of those Strike King tumbleweeds. I got one rigged up on my spinning rod. Basically rigged up like a wacky rig. I'm going to give that a shot and see. Well, hopefully I don't get caught up in these lily pads, but nope. That's how I caught that last one though. I just kind of rolled it right through them lily pads and had to kind of snatch it through. As soon as I snatched it through, the bass ate it. He's probably a couple of pounds. I didn't weigh it. It was dark. I didn't bother trying to film it or any of that nature, because you wouldn't have been able to see it anyway. I might end up having to move spots because I've already caught a few over here. I hope the footage is good. I can't really tell where I'm aiming at with being on this chest mount. Here we're just going to fast forward. Just basically casting out a few more times. Didn't get any more bites on this location, so I just wanted to fast forward and not to bore everybody with watching me cast out the same lure over and over again. I think I might throw out the Strike King 2.5 square bill, I guess. I don't remember if it's a wake bait or just a shallow diving crankbait. I don't remember what it was called, but Last time I was here, I actually caught my personal best on that other side over there, not far from the dock. I don't know if you can see the dock over there, but to the left from where I'm facing of the dock, I was throwing out that Strike King 2.5, and I hooked into my personal best, which was 2.4 pounds, which isn't a huge bass by any means, but considering this is the first year that I've been bass fishing, for me, that's a good sized bass, and that's my personal best. So now I'm on a mission to beat that and see if I can catch something bigger. I know there's got to be something bigger in here. I'm gonna have to get me a trolling motor. I said that in one of my last videos. I have to get me a trolling motor so I can utilize the John boat that they have here. It's free to the public to use, but it's a pretty good sized lake, and that's a long way to paddle, so they will allow you to bring your own trolling motor and battery to use their boat. So I'm gonna have to pick one of those up. Alright, I'm gonna toss this guy out a couple more times, and then we'll toss out that 2.5. And if we don't get any more bites over here, I've wore out my welcome on this side, catching the 3 fish that I caught. And I'll move over to the other side and give it a shot. Yeah. Alright, it's time to try something different. That was several casts with nothing. So we'll go ahead and... I have several setups with me. I only brought 2 down here though, the rest are in the truck. I'm sorry for making you look at my legs while I bend over. So this is at 2.5 Strike King. This is what I caught my personal best with. Just a few days ago. I came out here on a Wednesday, I want to say. The last time I was just kind of slow rolling it, and then I'd stop and I'd let it float back up to the top and kind of slow roll it so it's, I don't know, probably a foot and a half off the surface. And that's how I caught that 2.4 pounder. And I was doing that over there because there was a lot of debris in the water, and I didn't want to get snagged up in it and lose my lure. I got to be careful over on this side too, because there's a lot of grass in here. Alright, before I move over to the other side of this lake, which that's normally the side that I fish on, we're going to go ahead and throw out this ridge toad here. I got it Texas rigged. We're going to toss it out a little bit over here before I move, and we'll count how many times I backlash. I'm gonna need to learn how to cast left-handed. I can't cast left-handed to save my life. Oh, there's one. Just a little one though. Wasn't too bad. This Curado is supposed to be like almost impossible to backlash, but so I've been told. I said challenge accepted. And I backlash it frequently. I don't know if it's this line that I got on here. For braid, it seems to be awfully loose. Like the strands are not as tight as some of the other braid that I've used. It's the same brand, because I have a different style of 50-pound braid from Seaguar on one or two of my other rods, and it doesn't seem like it separates nearly as much as this one does. I don't know if I just got a bad batch or what, but this is supposed to be that Invisex. It's supposed to be a really good braid, but so far I'm not impressed with it. I'm actually tempted to just take it off here and put that other stuff on there. For whatever reason, maybe you guys can tell me, when I'm using this bridge toad thing here, sometimes when I go to retrieve it in, it'll retrieve with the white belly down, and other times it wants to try to retrieve upside down. I don't know why that is. If it's something I'm doing, drop it down in the comments. I've noticed if it's not swimming right, if I pop it, sometimes it'll flip back over where it's supposed to be, but I bought a couple of packs of these. I bought this green with the white belly, and then I bought some black ones a while back, and I'd never used them. So I just decided here recently to try them. And they move a lot of water when you're reeling them in. And the only thing I don't like I said, is one time I'll go to reel it in and it'll be upside down. The next time I go to reel it in, it'll be white side down, green side up, like it's supposed to be. So I don't know if it's how I'm retrieving it, or if I'm waiting too long to start reeling once it hits the water, or... Again, I'm new to bass fishing. I'm trying to learn, so if any of you guys have experience with these rage toads and you know what I'm doing wrong, drop it in the comments, because I'm always looking for suggestions to get better. But it's a blast no matter what. I'm digging the whole bass fishing thing. Like right now, that one, it's upside down. The last two casts, it was white side down. This time it retrieved green side down. It seems to do the same thing in the water. It's just the presentation. Like, there it is again. It's upside down. You would think the presentation wouldn't be right though if it's not white side down. Maybe that's why I haven't gotten any bites on it. There's backlash number 2. I've had more topwater bites with my Strike King popping pad perch. Maybe I'll just throw that back on. I was figuring I'd try some different lures. That felt like a knot. It was outstanding. Well, let me get this knot out of here and I'll bring you guys back. Alright, we're back. Hopefully you can see. I got you on the tripod. I couldn't get that knot out, so I had to cut it off. And I went ahead and put my popping pad perch back on. So we'll throw this out a few times. And if we don't get no hits on this, then we'll switch over to something else. I got a few different rigs out. I'll show you the tumbleweed setup that I'm going to try for the first time. We'll try that here in a little bit. We'll move this a little closer. It's kind of a pain in the butt trying to use this tripod. I might go back to the chest mount if this don't work. We'll see. I don't know how well you're going to see if I get a hookup or not. Alright, we're going to go back to the jig. By far, that is probably my favorite bait to throw, or lure, whatever you want to call it. I seem to have caught more bass in a few outings on this, and I have a plethora of different things. I've caught more fish on the jig than I have any other of my lures, and I think my second most fish caught has been on like the wacky rig or a Ned rig, something similar to that, soft plastic worm basically. Oh, we're on. First toss. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. He's hooked pretty decent. Come on. All right. Come on now. All right. Not bad for the first one. Let me get the scale. Okay. Well, that's pretty close. I don't know if you can see it or not, but 2.3 pounds. That's my second best. That's not the PB, but it's second best. Let me go ahead and get a picture of this guy before I toss him back in there. So that's 4 for the day. I couldn't get the first 3. Let's see if I can. Alright, let's get him back in there. couldn't get a picture of the first three because it was dark, like I said earlier. But that was first toss with the jig. And this is why I like this spot. Since I started bass fishing, I've probably gone no less than 10 different lakes. And I've caught a couple littler fish at a couple of the other lakes, but by far this lake has produced more numbers and bigger fish for me. I can only imagine what it'd be like if I can get on that boat and get down there into them coves. Since I'm basically stuck to this section here and then that section across the way where I was at this morning. That's the only accessible portion of this lake by bank. But so far today I've already caught 4. And the 4th fish, first one on this side, was my second biggest fish my second biggest bass that I've caught to date. It's kind of exhilarating when you get that hit. I'm looking forward to getting that first 5-6 pounder, you know. I've never caught one that big. I can imagine how fun that's going to be, considering how fun it is to catch these little guys. This particular setup has Seaguar 50 pound on it also, but it's a different version of the 50 pound. And this braid I have 0 problems out of. That braid that I had on that top water, that Invisex, I'm not a fan at all. And again, maybe I just got a bad roll. I had more backlashes and more problems with that spool than any of the other setups that I have. So I guess what I'm going to have to do to eliminate it from being a problem with the line or a problem with my settings, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and spool it with this braid here and see how it does. And see if it's the actual braid or if it's the settings on the reel itself. But it's got that electronic braking on it. The only thing that you can manually set is the spool tension and the preset setting for the magnetic brake. But I followed their instructions for that reel and I have it set for running braid. So since I had to cut half the spool off this morning because I've tied a big old knot in it when I backlashed, I guess I'll go ahead and just spool it with this other Seaguar 50 pound and see how it does. But I'll do that later. Right now I'm trying to catch fish. So. tumbleweed after I get a drink of coffee. I don't know if this view is better or if you guys prefer the chest mount. You'll have to let me know in the comments. Eventually I'll get a second camera and then I can have one on the tripod and one on the chest mount, but I'm a low budget beginner, so I don't have multiple cameras or a camera crew or anything. So this is pretty much the setup here. This is that little tumbleweed, and I got it on a weedless wacky hook. Watched a couple videos. That's what turned me on to these things. They were talking about there's a couple different ways to do this. You can do it with a wacky, you can put a Nico weight in it, or you can do it on a drop shot setup. So I'm going to toss it out like this, because this particular wacky has a little bit of a weight on it. So I'm going to see how this does, and then if it doesn't do any good, then I might try it drop shot, something like that. I'm fairly confident this is a bait that these fish have not seen. Actually, I got this camera turned crazy. Turn it more this direction so you can actually see me. Okay. Not that anybody wants to see me. Alright, I had to change the battery. The battery went low already. So I'm going to throw out this Shrek King 2.5 over here on this side. See if I can catch anything with this. I threw out that tumbleweed thing a few times. Nothing. So don't know that I'm impressed with that yet or not. I guess we'll find out if I actually hook into something with it or not. But I'm going to give this a toss out here a few times. Oh, forgot to turn the camera on, but I got number 5 right in the top of the mouth, and I just put on this just put on this 6-inch Ocho right there, and got on fish number 5. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this guy too. That's my first time throwing a 6-inch Ocho like that, so I figured I'd go ahead and give her a shot. The very first cast out. Let me clear that out. I don't know if you can see that, 1.80 pounds. That's about average for what I've been catching in here. But it's a good looking fish. That's fish number 5 for the day. Let me get him back in the water. Just fix my worm and go ahead and throw it back out there. Just basically a weightless Texas rig. Probably should be throwing this on a spinner, but it worked just fine with this bait caster. So, except for that.